Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode. Is this what is this? 148?
148.
Oh my
48.
gosh, that's one less than 149.
Shit.
Man, I am so unprepared for this tonight. Why don't we you guys talked about the giveaway last week, right? Who are
We talked about that we didn't know anything about it, and we were like, Jason's going to make it all better when he comes back. No one
yeah.
knows anything.
Okay, so
It's
let me guess. It's Forge 3D, right?
correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I remembered that.
Tyler is doing two more $100 gift cards
Woo!
for two lucky patrons. And speaking of patrons, in order to win our giveaways, you must be a patron. Because if you're not, we're not giving you anything except our voices. I wanted to look real quick and see if we have any new patrons. And for some reason, I'm having let's see, filter new paid members. And of course, it's not doing what I want it to do. Who do we have? Oh, we do have one 6 days ago, Mr. Travis Drury.
Wow.
Travis Drury became an apprentice.
Wow. Thank you, Travis.
Thank
Welcome
you
aboard.
so
Thank you.
much.
Welcome.
Also, Jason, we look back 14 days because we also did not know that as well.
Right. I did hear that part of the podcast. I actually haven't listened to it yet. I need to.
Your life has not been changed yet. Sedge,
Yeah.
No.
Sedge and I realized we actually solved all world problems by the time we got off from it.
Yes. We learned how to check our shorts.
That's it.
I I need to listen to it tomorrow. Uh
Life.
yeah, I believe that's the only one in the last 2 weeks. Mr. Travis.
It's July. We don't expect a lot from people right now.
Ooh, it's
Wow.
slow on the socials, I'll tell you that.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
it is. It
Yes,
is. It is. And that's normal. That's normal. It's slow in the news too. A lot about shark bites.
So I apologize for anybody listening if we missed your name from becoming a new patron. I'm looking at Patreon right now and I'm not seeing anybody else. Please let us know and we will be sure to shout you out on a future episode. We did actually have like 3 people though cancel their membership, so that's not great. What is going on? 3 people canceling their membership to the greatest podcast on the interwebs.
Well,
On the interwebs.
Yeah. So thank you, Tyler from Forge 3D, for providing another 2 $100 gift cards to your store.
Thank you, Tyler.
thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Man.
Bye-bye.
All right. We
Bye-bye.
have been, I know I've been very busy. I'm sure you guys have been very busy.
Oh my God.
Why don't we get into what we've been up to? I would ask that you guys go first because I would love to tell you about last week's event.
Definitely.
It was amazing, but I don't want you guys to feel like I'm rambling too long before you get to tell me what you've been doing. So who would like to go first?
Ronnie?
I'll go first because I probably have the least to say because I know Sedge had a big trip also.
That's right.
I've been doing a lot of the same thing. We're just knocking out projects left and right. And we have started working on the boat, like making it a priority again. I kicked it off with getting a new thing of epoxy in with 2 new squirters, and I put the wrong squirter on each bottle, by the way. That makes the epoxy not cure. That's what happens. So in case you're wondering, a 5-to-1 mix ratio, if you put it on the wrong thing, it doesn't work. And the reason why I messed up is because you're supposed to cut the one that, and it didn't fit in the smaller bottle. So I just assumed it went in the other one, but you're supposed to cut it. So I mixed it up. I put filler in it. I put about a third of a large West Systems Reaper Listening 410 microlight Fairling filler. I filled it up. Perfect peanut butter consistency. Spread it on the first part of the boat on the front of the bow. Had it all sitting there. And I was like, okay, tomorrow we're going to sand this. If all goes well, we'll continue this step. Come next day and I put my finger in it. It goes right through it. And I was like, what? That's not good. And then the first thing I thought was I've been using West Systems the whole time and I switched to Total Boat. I thought, okay, this may be the difference in the 2 products. Waited another day, still did not cure. So I'm like, okay, this must be me. And I start looking and I put the wrong squirt meter on each one of them. So it was my fault. So this morning, Cameron and I took 2 old hotel room credit cards, which I use for everything. and we scraped it off by hand and pretty much took all of it off except for a little bit of the sticky residue was left. And I looked it up and it said lacquer thinner will cut it to be able to wipe it off.
Yeah.
And I had naphtha and I had mineral spirits. And I was like, well, one of these will do it. Do you know it did not even affect it at all? Not at all. It just, the paper towel just stuck. And I was like, I got to go out and get lacquer thinner. Well, then just so happens Cameron gets some on his hands and I have a squirt bottle with vinegar in it because I use it for cleaning the windows. And he goes up and squirts his hands. And I was like, that's vinegar, Cameron. Whatever. He goes, well, it worked. Took it right off. So I go up to the boat with the vinegar and spray it. It falls off. It just falls off.
Wow.
It turned white and just
Yeah.
fell off like water. And I was like, well, isn't that interesting? Because I'd already Googled it and everything said lacquer thinner, but it took it off clean. And I was like, it was vinegar. That's so cool.
Huh.
So I learned that by accident. And then after that, I sanded it and I went through in a 4-foot section. I went through 6 80 grit pads, just clogged them up, taking off just the final little bit of residue, getting them off.
Huh.
Then we were back to square one again, mixed it right.
Wow.
And now I have the first 4 on there. If this works tomorrow, we're going to put the rest of it on in the morning and we'll have both the sides sanded and like faired, the final coat ready for like the car finish. So we are back on track.
Boy, that's good to know because I have a river table and I don't want to, if I'm using oil and vinegar dressing, I'm not going to spill any on there because I don't want my river to fall out.
That's a good point. You know, I do love that vinegar works when you think about all these crazy strong, chemicals that like make your head hurt and you can just use vinegar. And you know, it's funny. They don't tell you that. A lot of places don't tell you that because that's not an expensive product that you can buy. But it's like vinegar does so many things. I mean, it cleans windows better than Windex. My mom taught me that. And that's what I use for cleaning all the shop windows. Just use vinegar. In the car, that's what I use. So we got through that. But I tell you, it's really bad when you're like ready to go full force on a project and you do something like that. It's like I knew at that point we had to get that off or I'm just going to walk away and say, forget it. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did a test section first and it wasn't the entire boat that I went
Right.
full out on. I did a test just like I did today and I tested it. We did it about 4 hours ago and I just touched it right before we got on this podcast and I could barely get my fingernail into it. It's
Wow.
setting up. So I'm glad to report it's setting up. So that's I think that's the highlight right now, what we're working on. I've been selling a lot of work lately, and I'm pointing that out because it surprises me. We're looking at like into late July, August, and usually by then I'm just installing things that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting new call requests and quotes and yeses this late in the summer, and it really surprises me. So we're almost to the point where when that starts happening in August, it means there's a point where I have to almost cut it off, where I'm going to be installing things in December. So I've got to start being really careful about that, the things that I take on.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that last year for the first time. And I told people that you're looking at December install. We need to hold yours off so it's next spring because I didn't sign up to work out in like freezing cold temperatures to install people's outdoor living products. I didn't sign up for that. So that's good though.
Yes, you did. You're a small business owner. You signed up to do everything.
I know, but I try to get smarter about it. But so that's been a surprise. That's people are still spending money and it's still going really well on that. So that's cool. Other than that, I think that's a big highlight of what I've been into. We start the largest project that I've had for the entire year next week. I'm holding off this week. We're starting that next week and we're just taking care of a lot of loose ends this week. A lot of to-dos, service calls, things like that. So we're going to be running all around this week. And then next week's a biggie.
Nice.
So that sums up where I've been, what I've done. How about you, Mr. Sedge?
I just got back from vacation.
Bahamas?
We left last Wednesday, got back last night. I feel like I've been gone for a year. And my lawn represented that.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I spent I
This is the
spent
time of the
from
year.
9 o'clock this morning until 3:30 this afternoon, cutting lawns, edging. Oh my God. But one thing to note, I started at 7 o'clock actually, and I bought a new Ego battery powered motor. I upgraded my old one because I had a
Motor
hiccup
for
on my
what?
old one that I've had for 6 years.
On your
So
mower?
yep, my Ego battery powered one. So I'm going to be doing a video, old versus new, and comparing my one I have for 6 years versus my brand new one, and the upgrades on it are fantastic. So I did that, but I left last Wednesday to get into DC a couple days early. Friday, we had a planned Nationals game against the Reds. There were 30 of us. My brother-in-law walked into the lobby about 2 o'clock, and he had turned 70 that day. He had no idea there were 30 family members waiting for him.
Oh,
That's
Freaked
cool.
out. It was unbelievable. And then, but the 2 days prior, my son Frankie, daughter-in-law Amy, and my grandson, uh, Gray, came up, and we woke up Thursday morning, and we went to the Air and Space Museum. We got out of the car or the Uber, walked up to a sign that said "Scan your for your tickets." I went, "What the hell is this? All the Smithsonian's are free." Yeah, it was so busy that you have to order passes.
uh,
And it's not all the Smithsonian. It's the Air and Space, the African American one, and there was one other. All the Smithsonian's are free, but you have to have passes. So we looked it up, and for the next 3 days, all the passes had been sold.
I understand why they do that, but that happened to me the second time we went to San Francisco and I wanted Kelly to see Alcatraz. And it was right when they started doing this online stuff. And because of that, people book it before they leave. And it messes
Yep.
up the people that are there
Yep.
because people plan ahead and do that. That's frustrating.
And so it was, all of us really wanted to go because I had taken Frankie there. And then Marianne, I thought about it. And you know how there's certain cues that you're getting older? This was one. I go, last time we were here, we walked right in and there was barely anybody in there. And I said, oh my God, that was 32 years ago.
Hmm.
Holy crap. So I said, tack with this. We started walking and we walked onto the mall. And I go, what's free? And everything else was that we wanted to go to. So we went over to Gallery of the National Arts. We walk in on the main, and I could have spent a week in each gallery. All the impressionists from Manet to Monet to Degas to Cezanne and the works of art. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a freak with art. I love it. And then all the Thomas Cole collection. And it's cool because I'm trying to teach my grandson, like I taught Frankie, these are real, right? That's a real Leonardo da Vinci.
Wow.
Okay, it was really cool. So
Is he one of the Ninja Turtles?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Theo
what we
loves him.
did is we wanted to go to Smithsonian of Natural History. That's a must do, right? So we went downstairs to exit. And as soon as we walked through this one gallery, I went, where the hell have I been? It was all period furniture for 4 galleries.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So as we walked through, I took a boatload of pictures of all the Philadelphia High Boys, the Providence collection, the Townsend High Boy, the Fife table, Duncan Fife, and the High Crest. Oh my God, all the stuff that you read about, but there they are and they're real. So we walk out because we were on our way, and then everybody sat outside for a few minutes, and Frankie went to get Gray an ice cream bar. I said, I'm going back in to take more pictures. So it was really something to see these works of art in wood. So then we went to natural history. We walked in, and I felt like a sardine. I could not believe how many people were in there on a Thursday afternoon. And it was vacation time, and I was so daggone crowded. And all of a sudden, Gray looked at me and goes, I feel claustrophobic. I go, me too. Let's get out of here. And then we we took an Uber to a museum, and I was like, okay, what's next? And they go, we want to go. Gray wants to go to the International Spy Museum. Have you ever heard of this place?
Mm-mm.
It cost it costs quite a bit of money for each person, and we walk in. I said, let's just do it because he wants to. We spent 2.5 hours in there. You know what? I spent extra money so we could go into one room for James Bond. It was all his cars throughout all the Bond movies, and they were the real ones.
Was
Oh,
it Austin
wow.
Martin's?
Oh
Aston.
my God, everything. I mean, they had the there was the boats
Oh
where
wow.
he jumped over the roads. He had, I can't remember the movies. The one where it was just neat. The boat he was in trying to go over the falls in Moonraker because Jaws was chasing him, and they would show the clip of it, and then it turned into a hang glider.
Yeah, there's one
It's
movie that really,
unbelievable.
he's in a wooden Riva boat. Were there any wooden boats there?
No, there weren't,
There's
unfortunately.
been a Riva on 007 before. They've said that. I didn't know. That's cool.
And it was amazing. And then throughout the museum, it was all about espionage. And I looked at everybody as we got down to the gift shop. I go, the marketing of espionage. But you know what? It was a really cool look back at history, Cold War. You ready? The Revolutionary War and the Culper group. It was really neat. George Washington was our first spy master. I knew that because I read a lot of books about it, but I was pretty impressed. So that was really cool, and that was fun. Nationals game, Nationals won, and then we had a great dinner on Saturday night and a big birthday party for Bobby. And you know what's really neat? At 4:30 the next morning, we kidnapped him, and he's back here right now helping me with landscaping.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's here for 2 weeks. He's just a cool guy to hang with. So that's what I've been up to. And I got the new mower. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll drop a video on that. Because you know what? I like to talk about what I like. And there wasn't any good video for me what the upgrades were, or I didn't search enough to see. But boy, there's some great upgrades on it. So I want to talk about that in the video. Other
Hey,
than that, that's what I've been up to. Um, I'll tell anybody if you're going to go to Air and Space Museum, make sure you get your tickets.
yeah,
Okay.
good tip. You know
Because
what? I think your tip could be applied further out than that because it happened to us at Alcatraz. If you're going anywhere and you're planning on going to stuff, even if it's free, check and see first to see if you need to
yes.
reserve before. Because I think it's getting to the point where everything is like that. National parks, museums, everything is pre-figured out that you're going to go there. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
and one other thing we did, I just want to mention, um, we went to Arlington National Cemetery to see my father-in-law, who I never met, his gravestone. He was killed in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And my mother-in-law is buried there because you're allowed to be, and she also served. It
How'd
was
you
pretty
find it?
special.
How'd you
Huh?
find
Very cool.
It's really, we know it's plot 55, and Amy, my daughter-in-law, said, I'd like to go see my aunt, and we did, and we hiked. And if you've ever been to Arlington and somebody's buried there, you know how huge this place is and all the stones. And when we got out to her area, it was 66. It was probably a round trip mile walk out. There's just a few of us that went there. The whole family went out to Arlington, but just a few of us went out to see that. This is how pretty awesome it is. All of a sudden, we're walking diagonally through to the gravestone. All of a sudden, she goes, "Oh!" And then Frankie, my son, went, "Whoa!" And I looked, and there was a coyote out there.
Oh, wow.
And what was neat about it, it looked kind of like a hyena, and we were like, "That was borderline spooky."
That's scary.
But it was really neat, and you pay tribute or you go visit, and it's important to people to, make that visit in Arlington. I've never been to any of the tourist things in there, like the grave of the unknown soldier. That was my second time out to the gravesite of my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. So it's pretty cool.
That's
I
cool.
wanted to make, if you have the opportunity, go to Arlington National Cemetery. And I'm going to tell you, you'll realize what a PISA award does,
Yeah, I
you
went
know,
one.
and these people, Jason, you've been there, of course, haven't you? To
I've never been to
Arlington.
Arlington.
Oh
Nope.
my God. Everybody has to
I've
go.
been to lots of military cemeteries, but never been to Arlington.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what? When somebody starts to complain about America, there's sometimes I have said this. I go, have you ever been to Arlington National Cemetery? They go, no, then. I go, then shut your pie hole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you respect everybody in those armed services because they give us the right to have something that's called freedom.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Jason, for your service.
Yes.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you. Hey,
Thank you.
Right before
So
we go to Jason, go ahead, Sedge.
so oh, I was just gonna say, Jason, what have you been up to? That
Oh,
was my
right
segue.
before we go to Jason, because I think he'll be interested because he has the same zero turn and you're into mowing. So I want to tell you something Cameron and I did. He talked me into getting the mulching kit for our zero turn. And I was
Ooh.
like, I don't know. We stopped by the place where he bought it. It was like $300. And I was like going, well, what's this really going to do? But it eliminates the side discharge. It adds a circle steel like cage that
Mhm.
holds it in, and you change out the 3 blades. It has made this thing a new mower. You no longer have to care where it's shooting. You can go right up. You used to have to mow knowing that you could never turn the way of like the
Oh,
mulch bed. You
yeah.
you don't have to worry about that anymore. It is amazing. Cameron's like, why didn't the mower come with this? And I'm like, they probably were trying to meet a certain price point, but it has made it. I know we talked about it before, Jason, and you're not sure if you're going to keep yours, but if you do, the mulching kit is a game changer. You will not shoot grass out on the driveway and sidewalk. It just it just like cuts it more than once, and it just puts it back in the grass, which is the best thing it can do. So it's a huge upgrade, and I highly suggest it. I ordered
It's
it.
funny. I may actually look at doing that. They actually came and picked up my mower today for services, but I may look at doing that because it's been driving me nuts when I go by the new landscaping that I had done in the front. I always have to go a certain direction just so I don't throw the grass into it.
And you know how you turn really fast and you turn into the grass and dust cut and you drive and you have to breathe through it. That
Mhm.
doesn't happen anymore. That was the worst thing for us. We're mowing like a 3 acre strip, and when you turn around, the grass and dust is still in the air that you're breathing back in. That eliminated that. And Cameron said he's even noticed a difference in the sound. It's even quieter because now the blades are encapsulated all the way around. You also
Ah,
don't have to worry about the discharge chute hitting things like a gate or anything like that. There's no chute on the side. It is a wonderful upgrade. And ours is a little bit bigger than yours, so yours would probably be cheaper than 300. But I highly
Well,
suggest.
300 is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think ours is a 55 and yours is a what, 40,
I have the 32. I have the
32.
smallest one
Yeah.
because of my fence.
Yeah, yours would be probably less than that. So yeah, I just want to let you know that's definitely something if you have a riding mower, a zero turn, find out about it. I wouldn't even known about it if Cameron hadn't told me. And
I
it's
may
awesome.
actually, now that you mentioned that, I may call the company tomorrow since they have my thing there anyway and be like, do you guys have the mulching kit for this? If so, put it on, please.
Well, we were worried about mowing out here at the shop. We let it go a little high and thought, is this going to make it where it bogs down? It did not care at all. It's still doing just as good. It just doesn't leave little hay things sticking up when we go a while. It mows it all completely. It's a great upgrade.
Interesting.
Very worth
Interesting.
it. So I didn't think about that till Sedge started talking about mowers, and I was like, oh, gotta let you know that. So now we can go to Jason, who's had probably the most eventful thing of
Literally,
the
event.
noteworthy. I tried to keep up with some of the posts and I tried to keep up with Izzy's post, but I still don't feel like I know completely about it. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
So I went to the first annual Makers Ultimate Challenge. I was invited by Izzy Swan months ago to go out there and be a team captain for this event. And I'll give a little bit of backstory. You guys know the backstory, but I was nervous that this event was going to get canceled. And the reason why I was nervous it was going to get canceled is because it wasn't until like a month out from the actual event happening that they finally started posting about it and asking people to fill out an application to attend the event. So I thought for sure, like this thing is just, it's too late in the game. It's going to end up getting nixed. But it didn't. Everything went, I wouldn't say according to plan, but the event did happen. And then I got to the event, and I got there on Sunday, last Sunday. And you guys remember, I was sending you messages going, I think this was a mistake. I don't think this event is going to be, very worthwhile. It seems like it's kind of just thrown together at the last minute. That was, and I'm just being as brutally honest as I possibly can, because I think the end result is going to speak volumes. But I just didn't think it was going to be all that great, just based off, like, I hardly knew anybody at the event, and that's not really like a big deal or even a thing. But when you go to events like this, you typically know like all the people that are going for the most part, or at least 80 to 90% of them. But there wasn't a lot of like huge social media followings there. There wasn't a lot of, good friends of mine there. But I made some new friends. But that was that first night. And it was like, we got there on Sunday. It was like here and there, like people were kind of filtering in. You were going to sign in and stuff. And then I just ended up kind of going back to my room and kind of calling it a night. And then we got up the next morning, went downstairs, had breakfast. They gave a quick little speech on what the event was going to entail. They took us over to the facility. It was Western Maryland Works was the facility we went to. Amazing. They have machining, they have CNC, they have plasma cutter, they had welding opportunities, they had a woodworking shop. They had like literally everything. Fantastic facility. But they explained to us how this event was going to happen. And that's where I was like, I actually think this is going to be really fun. So they broke us up into teams. I had a team of me and 3 other individuals. Now the teams were supposed to be much bigger, I think. And I think there was supposed to be more teams. It was just they didn't get enough people signed up for it. But basically what it was, we were told the morning of, we want you guys to build your interpretation of like an outdoor camping kitchen. And we show up to this room, and there's this long hallway or this huge building, but there's this long straight line of tables, and every team had 2 tables. On the tables were a bunch of tools. There was some Milwaukee stuff, DeWalt stuff. There was a toolbox. There was clamps from Bessie. Basically, all of the sponsors of the event provided all the basic items that you would need to get started. And then directly behind the tables was 2 sawhorses with some cedar. Then this is the coolest part. Then they were like, right across from your tables, this is the store. And in this store has all of these different things that you can purchase, and you can purchase them with what's called muck bucks. So it was a Maker's Ultimate Challenge bucks, right? And the way that you earned muck bucks was by posting on social media. And depending on like if I did stories, it was worth this much per story. If I did, and like, if I posted them to Instagram and Facebook, it's basically worth double because it's cross posting on 2 platforms. If you do a reel, it's this much. If you do a live, it's this much. So what ended up happening was we immediately were like, first thing we need to go look at is let's go look at the store and see what kind of accessories they have and figure out what they cost. That way we can start coming up with an idea. So we go over there, we take a look, they got sinks and camp stoves and all of these cool things, drawer slides, hardware, all this different stuff, plywood, additional lumber. And we had an idea of what they had. So we went back to the table and we started planning what we were going to build. And that just slowly evolved into what we ended up building. And what was cool about it is you could use anything you wanted. And this is where we fell short. We didn't take advantage of like utilizing all the things that were available, like welding and everything else. But you could use anything you wanted for this project. So the guys came up, we all came up with a plan. Guys started to execute. I was like, I'm going to start doing social media stuff while you guys are finalizing the design. We'll get us some money. We'll go buy the things that we need. And then it was so much fun because you had to be smart about the things that you were buying, what kind of social media posts you could do. And this was a brilliant thing from them on the fact that what better way to help promote this event that you want to grow than get a bunch of people who have social media followings posting about this event. Now everybody knows what that Maker's Ultimate Challenge is. It was brilliant. But we ended up like getting a whole buttload of money that first day. We bought all the things that we needed. All the teams had a young like high school student that was like something in the trades or the tech industry or something, like the kid that we had. He was fantastic. He followed me around pretty much the entire thing and just wanted to learn everything that I was doing. He wants to go to school to become an electrical engineer, or not an electrical engineer, an engineer in general. Mechanical engineering, I think.
Mechanical engineer.
Yeah. So Jude was his name, if I remember correctly. Great young man. It was so much fun. I will tell you, it was a 2-day event. So before I tell you my thoughts on the thing, so we worked all day, got all kinds of stuff done. We were so far ahead of everybody else. The team worked fantastic. One of my team members was actually the previous chief editor for Woodcraft magazine, but they just recently canceled Woodcraft magazine. Like they don't make it anymore. It was, oh man, it was so great. So we got done at 5. We went back to the hotel. You had about 30 minutes, hour or so to change. You go downstairs from 6 to 9, open bar. The food was phenomenal. The food was excellent. Like every night, the food was just top shelf. All the alcohol was included. For 3 hours, went back the next day, had breakfast, went to the place the entire day again. Same exact rules applied. We finished up our project, loaded everything up, brought it back. That second night, they brought in everybody from the university that we were working at. They brought in like the families of the kids that came. The kids, it was just an awesome event. Like they rented out the terrace. The location that we did it was a place called Rocky Gap Resort and Casino, and it was like 2 hours west of Baltimore. Beautiful.
I think we drove by it.
Really?
On our way to DC.
It was beautiful. Beautiful. The lake, they had a golf course, they had a casino, and obviously a casino inside. The hotel itself was really nice. Great event center, wonderful restaurants. I had one of the best burgers ever the last night that I was there. I had a Wagyu smash burger at the restaurant. It was one of the best burgers I've ever had. Beautiful outside area. They have a little beach for the lake. I mean, it could not have been any nicer. And then Wednesday morning, we woke up. That when they brought everybody in on Tuesday night, they actually did like everybody vote for your favorite. And that was a separate thing from the actual judges that judged it the next day. The next morning we get up, we have breakfast. Then they do the awards presentation. They gave away a bunch of stuff from the sponsors. I actually won something that I'm so excited about. It should be here by the end of the week. I won a Gerstner tool chest, and I had actually known about them because Patrick from Leather by Dragonfly got a really cool one from like the 1940s. Michelle bought it for him it was a surprise for his birthday or anniversary or something. I can't remember, but like it still had the booklet on the inside with like the guys writing like a journal and stuff. Beautiful, beautiful toolbox. This company is like over 100 years old. I told you guys, I talked to Kim, who's the VP of marketing and sales, and I asked her, I was like, would you ever be interested in coming on the podcast? Because there's a lot of history with this company I think would be really interesting to share.
They're in Ohio. Cincinnati?
Dayton,
that's right.
Yeah, Eric Gorgeous actually did a Craftsman's Legacy episode at their location.
That's
and built
right.
one of the toolboxes. Yeah,
that's right. I remember. Yep.
So these things are highly sought after. I won one of them. They have a newer model that came out. It's called the Maker's Tool chest, and it has 4 drawers and like a lid that opens up. And I absolutely cannot wait to get it. I got a oak one. It has black felt on the inside. They're like, you can customize if you want. I'm like, nope, this is good. I'm totally fine with it. Now I have a place to put all my some of my chisels and some other stuff. It'll be really cool. Anyways, so they gave away a bunch of prizes, and then they gave away like, small little trophies that go with each team. There was like, the least portable outdoor kitchen. It went to the guys that do the making fun. They built this like huge monstrosity that's like so not portable at all. We won an award for it was all the right ingredients award. So that's what we ended up winning. It was so much fun. Like the whole thing was just a great time. But here's what I'm going to say. I explain all of that to say this. I've been to a few of these build events, right? I've been to the festival one, I've been to the Rubio one, and now this one. This was by far, without question, the most fun and enjoyable build event that I have done. And it's for the reason of how they went about putting it together and not just making it like, hey, here's some stuff that all of you can choose from. It was like everybody gets the exact same thing. You can use anything you want here. Oh, and by the way, if you want to add cool stuff, you have to, like the way that they did it, that whole thing was just so smart. Like it was so much fun. And I actually felt bad. I felt bad after the first day because the day before I was writing you guys going, this is not going to be great. This is not going to be fun. And boy, did I eat my words.
I got a question, and you just built on my question even more so. Do you think that one of the reasons why it went so differently than you thought is because maybe in the beginning you weren't familiar with a lot of the people that were coming, like the standard big names? And also, do you think the event went differently because a lot of now there were, people there, but I mean, a lot of the standard big names were not there. Did that make the event go differently where people, for example, had maybe more energy or maybe more to prove or more thought process, and they weren't just hanging out?
How many teams were there?
6.
6 teams. Wow.
I don't think so. Like I don't think the fact of who was there and who wasn't there, it was just strange to me because I'm used to going to events and knowing a bunch of people that are going. But to be completely honest with you, like I didn't know very many. I know all the regular people that go to Workbench Con, but most of the new people that go, I didn't know any of them because I don't spend a lot of time on social media. So to me, it's not about like the following or anything. Like literally anybody can go to this event. They obviously want somebody that has some sort of like not following because that's the wrong word for it, but they're on social media. So it gives them the ability to share. So just a couple more people understand that this event exists. And so I don't think it would have made it any better or worse if it was just a bunch of big time YouTubers. Like I actually like the fact now looking back at it, I like the fact that I didn't know hardly anybody that was there.
And that's
You got to meet new people.
That's
because
what
I got to meet new people.
That's what I'm asking. I think maybe at the first your hesitance is that you weren't familiar with a lot of people, but it sounds like it ended up working out for you, that it's just a whole new group of people that you met pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm the same way when I'm around, like, I don't want to meet new people. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, that was awesome. So I'm just curious.
No, it was great.
That's the reason this year I was very insistent when we did the build off. We're not bringing back any alumni. We're bringing back a bunch of new people because I like meeting new people, and I wasn't the only one selecting them, but it was kind of neat because I met somebody that I had no idea who they were because Lucy had selected them, and it was wonderful. It turned out great. I just like the dynamic where you throw 6 people together. No one knows. A lot of them don't know each other in that scenario. And what they come up with is amazing. And I used to worry about it, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to and Ronnie, you saw it happen this last one. You were there as a guy just who could oversee things and not direct them, but hey, you need to watch the time on this and stuff like that. But and it's fun that way. And then we have the ones where we call them alumni ones now because I think we're up to 8 now we've done. And we bring back people who have done it before. But sometimes that's not great either, because they kind of have an in on how it goes, and there's no surprise. I don't like it
So-
when I don't like it when there's a lot of stuff that's pre-planned for a build off. And that's what you had, Jason. Nobody knew going in what was going on.
Right.
And that was
Nobody,
cool
like,
too.
yeah, and I was a captain and I still didn't have any idea what it was that we were going to build. And it
Yeah.
was still even a little unclear when they told us what we were going to do. We thought there was 6 teams, that each team was going to be responsible to build a particular item of an outdoor kitchen. And then that outdoor kitchen would then get donated to somebody or sold at auction or whatever. But no, it was everybody's going to do. So that's one thing that I thought was cool about it. You go to the festival one or the Rubio one, so much fun. However, it's here's what you have for lumber. Come up with a cool design and build a piece of furniture. We're going to auction it off. Fun build, right? However, everybody had the exact same material. So that's what I thought was so interesting about it, because it was a complete opposite of the other ones. It was, you all have this many 4x4s, you all have this many, whatever 3/4 inch thick, you have these inch thick, like everybody's got exactly the same thing and you can all buy the same stuff, but what everybody came up with was so different. It was a variation of the same thing, but it was so different. And to see the creativity between each one of them, and like the team that won, I mean, they deserved to win because they took everything that they had to their availability, to include 3D printed items, to include welding, to include they used something from every single sponsor. Slab Stitcher was there, Sedge, which he wanted me to tell you hello. Great guy, great family. The whole family was there.
Oh, wicked
So
cool.
everybody like incorporated Slab Stitcher into their stuff. I think for the most part, everybody did. I know we did. We did like a Maryland logo that we put in ours. It was just so much fun. Like it was so, I think that's such a cool idea. Like, here's what you're going to do. Everybody has the same materials, go at it. And then here's how you make it different. Buy these things out of the store and let's see where this goes. Oh, and the only way you can get money is by promoting it on social media. Like, so smart. But I wanted to talk about it today for the fact that, one, I need to be better myself about, like, don't judge a book by its cover type deal, right? Like, give it some time and see what happens and how it works out, because, I thought that it was going to be the worst event that I had been to, and it ended up being the most fun that I've had. But here's what's so great about it. This event, the feedback that they've gotten from sponsors, people that said no, they didn't want to participate in it. Hey, it's too late in the game. Maybe next time. They all are 100% on board for the next one. The feedback that they got from the community, I was talking to Izzy about this separately. He was like, you would not believe the kind of positive feedback that we've gotten from companies moving forward to do this. Like he got emotional at the event because he has been planning. He has wanted to do an event like this for years, and it's been years in the making, which is another thing I want to mention. The event company that did this, they're called Destination Paradise. They do stuff throughout the country, but primarily down in that area, I think. They were amazing. Amazing. It was like I learned a lot from them for our event.
That's good.
Just by going to that event, seeing how Marianne was the woman's name who handles it. So clearly she's a wonderful woman.
For sure.
So seeing how she like anticipated anything that could or couldn't go wrong. Like, she was all over it. Like, she was just, that whole team, they were just amazing. I cannot say enough good things about this event, and I cannot wait to go to another one, which leads me to what I wanted to say to everybody listening. This event is meant, like, they're going to pick captains. There will always be captains that are picked, and there are always going to be people that are social media influencers, right? Every other person that attends, you apply to attend. Like, they will have a thing on their website. You apply that you want to go, and they will select people to come to it. And I think it's going to get a lot harder now that people know what the event is. If you're listening to this and you have the opportunity to go to this event, when it comes down and you want to go to it, I cannot urge you enough to volunteer or to apply to go to this event, because it is fantastic. And I was like, man, you know, because typically these kind of events you don't get to go back to unless they do an alumni event, right? Like said you were just talking about, but that's not super common. I was telling Izzy, I'm like, you know, I wish I'd get to come back to one of these. And he was like, don't worry about it. Like if you were invited to this one, like we're going to be inviting you guys to future ones and we want to continue to grow this. And I'm like, I don't care. I will move heaven on earth to make sure that I am available for whatever weekend that is. Um, and it's looking like potentially the next one they want to start doing 2 a year. So they want to do one. I think next year they're planning on doing one again in the fall, late summer, early fall in Maryland, same location that we were at. And then he mentioned that they were looking at doing one in like the March time frame in Greenville, South Carolina.
Huh.
So it was so much fun. If you're listening to this and you want an opportunity to go next time it happens, apply. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get told no. It's probably going to be harder to get into it because so many more people are going to apply. It was so much fun. So much freaking fun. And I made new friends and it was great. Wonderful location. It was just awesome. I'm so glad that I went.
Good. I'm glad it wasn't a bad experience because you devoted a lot of time and effort to getting there. So I'm glad it was worth it.
Yeah, that I would say that's my only complaint is that it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes from the airport from Baltimore. But like I showed up and there was a driver there waiting for me. Like drove me to the hotel, picked me up at like 4:45 in the morning on Thursday, drove me back to the airport, and it was a driver for Destination Paradise. Super cool guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, amazing. God, what a good time. Like it was so much fun. I cannot wait to do it again. But it gave me a lot of ideas moving forward. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more events like this pop up. Like the writing's kind of on the wall. Like people are trying to find the next new thing to replace other events. But God dang it, it was fun.
Cool.
Green Suitors Con.
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 Yeah, we're hashing out all the final details. Can I tell you about what I did today, though?
Yes,
Sure.
please do.
I made some significant progress on this built-in coat rack thing, which Sedge I was going to be like, man, I can't wait for you to see it this weekend, but I'll be in Dallas this weekend. So you'll
I'll
have
be
to see
sleeping this weekend.
the next weekend. I got the drawer fronts installed. I got all of the trim pieces cut and put them all in place temporarily with the lamello just to make sure that everything fits properly. Now I'm going to pull all those out, domino it together so it's one big frame. And when everything's done, I can just literally snap it right back into place. I got the doors installed and I got the upper doors installed that open up like this. It looks fantastic. I wish I could show you right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to pick up the glass. But my goal now is I really need to get this thing finished by Thursday afternoon because Friday morning I'll be going down to Dallas to visit with my lucky patron that won the shop visit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's I'm leaving for that Friday. But there's a Leo starts kindergarten next week.
Wicked.
Wow, that early?
Yeah. He goes to kindergarten next Wednesday is his first day of kindergarten. And they were supposed to do like a going back to school kindergarten celebration with all the kids from his daycare. But I guess the location that they were going to do it, something happened. It was somebody's house and they can't do it. So Nicole, being the amazing, wonderful person she is, volunteered our house to do that, which is fine. However, I'm not going to be here. But I really want to get this thing done since we're having people over, and I know she would like it to be done instead of people coming in going, why is this
No better motivation.
not finished? I mean, I'm so close now. It's like I'm installing hardware. I got a few pieces to finish, a couple of things to glue up, but I'll need the rest of the week to make sure I get everything dialed in just right. So, which speaking of that, I was actually supposed to go to festival tomorrow, Sedge.
Oh.
But I'm not. We're moving it to next week. Just because
I'm going there tomorrow.
are you?
I haven't
Interesting.
been
God, I
there
could
in
have seen you.
about a week.
Sedge, I feel like you go there a lot.
I do. I do. Hey guys, want to hear some? I just want to add one more point. Remember when I went to Ireland
Yeah.
and I left my phone off from work with
Mhm.
emails and everything? Uh, and I got back yesterday. I turned it off, put it in my bag, took it with me, right? Didn't turn it on once, my work phone to check
Wow.
work emails. And so next week's podcast, I will bring you an update of how many emails I got because I'm opening it up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. How many I got and how many I need to respond to and how much was spam.
Uh,
And you want to know something? It's in so anybody out there who thinks like I used to think that you can't turn it off, you can. Because when I went to Ireland, I turned it off for 10 days plus. And I got back and I had like a couple hundred emails roughly. I turned it on at 5 a.m. and found out I had 30 of significance. And then I went into work and really tuned it in and dialed it in because deleted all of them. And I think I had to answer for.
I remember.
You can turn it off. You need to get away and not think about your day to day.
Well, I've
And
heard it. I've heard something before. Someone said if you set on an email, like if you set on it, all your emails for a week and you go back and look at them, that a lot of them don't matter anymore. They're
yeah,
like,
and my number one takeaway, Ronnie, was we needed a couple bottle openers for the room. So at that spy museum, my grandson and I bought these little knives with bottle openers. And he said, "Hey, Papa, can you show me how to whittle?" And we sat out there and we found sticks in these shrubs. And I showed him how to whittle and use the knife and point the blade away. And for the next 2 to 3 days, the only thing he was doing was whittling. And you know what? That was a huge takeaway from the entire vacation. I got to hang out with my grandson and just whittle away. Next thing I know, my daughter-in-law Amy goes, "Hey, can I try that?" And next thing she's whittling these sticks we pick out of the shrubs at the hotel. It was,
that's awesome.
oh God, I miss them so much. But it was you and Jay and Jason. I know you were listening. You can take that phone and throw it in a drawer. You do not have to answer emails. Just take that time and be present with your family. And that's
Yeah.
what I did. And even Marianne was shocked. She goes, "You didn't turn it on, did you?" I go, "No, it's sitting right here on my desk and I'm not turning it on until tomorrow morning at 5 a.m."
That's
You
good.
know, I
Smart.
might not even turn it on until I walk into the office. You
I
need
mean,
to
yeah, you might as well
decompress.
just wait and just open up your computer and see everything.
Yeah, I may just do that. I don't need to turn that phone on.
You know what? If you turn it on right now, you might as well just go on into the office because your brain's going to be there once you see
Yeah,
a few emails.
and you know what? And that's exactly right.
It is. All it takes is one. And I wish Sedge could have talked to little me when I used to connect to the office when I was on vacation. All it took is one email to bring me back out of vacation mode. One
Yep.
email where somebody copied somebody else and asked a question they already knew the answer to. One email like that, and you're like, oh, why do they do that? You're done. You're out of vacation mode.
Well, Ronnie, I've been with Festival 17 years. I didn't learn that until 2 years ago
Oh, it's awful.
because I always thought I had to be connected. And when
No,
I got back from Ireland, and that was the time of our lives, and Marianne said, "I'm so proud of you. You really disconnected." And I did. And guess what? For the 6 days I was gone, I disconnected, or 5 days.
I,
It was
I
pretty awesome.
I learned it accidentally when we did the cross country trip twice out west. A
Yeah.
lot of places, national parks and places we went in the RV, there's not Wi-Fi. And I think it's better now than it was like 7 or 8 years ago. I think it's more mainstream, but you couldn't get a Wi-Fi signal most places unless you went to like a Starbucks parking lot. So
Mm.
it forced me to not be connected. It
Yep.
completely forced me. And I kind of learned, I told her, you know what? I don't miss it. I don't miss it. And that's kind of where I learned it. So I've learned it fairly recently myself.
Yeah. It was. I. you need that. You need that for your brain. You just need to not think about your day to day. And I'll tell you what, man, working out today in the sun and doing all the landscaping and mowing the lawns and doing all that, I am whooped right now. I mean, whooped.
Yeah, there's a certain conditioning that has to happen to being used to working outside. I'm in
Yeah.
the groove right now. It takes me each year, I think it takes me longer to get in the groove, and I'm there.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. Like last week, there was people saying the homeowners were like, "You don't need to come in. It's hot," and I'm thinking, "It's not. We started this morning. I can't tell. Just don't let me go into your cold house,
Yep.
and I'll be okay."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all what you used to. But that's good. I think the earlier people learn that, the better. You don't have to be connected all the time. And that's probably why they used to have vacation. People used to be able to leave and they just couldn't be contacted. But now you can have it right in your pocket and be right back in the office.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah. And you know what? I did work, but it was for Sedge Tool only.
Yeah, that's different.
You know, I had to say, hey guys, before we head out, I'm just gonna go back to my room for a half hour and take care what I have to get the video ready for publishing.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah,
You
that's
know, so it was pretty cool. It was a 9.5 hour drive each way.
it's not bad.
Nope, not at all.
It's not too different than what I think my drive is. I think I'm around 9.5 or 10 hours.
So you want to hear the pisser? You're gonna love this, Jason. So it was I-70 most of the way.
Mhm.
You know how much I love I-70, right? So we are 35 minutes away from home. And we come to a standstill in some construction and it started going slow. Then all of a sudden it stopped. And it went from, you know, you see the red line where it goes on your Apple Maps, it says 7-minute traffic halt.
Mhm.
Went from 7 to 35 minutes to 1 hour
Ugh.
or to 2 hours to 2 hours and 8 minutes. So I was going to be home at 2:30 according to my ETA on my GPS. It said eventually 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, we were out walking around the car. Everybody was out of their cars, and it was crazy. So all of a sudden, it went from 2 hours and 8 minutes to 7 minutes, and it cleared up. Instead of 2:30 getting home, we got home at 4 o'clock. I'm gonna say it right now. I hate Interstate 70 because I remember when I was heading over to Patrick and Michelle's, I was at a standstill for 2.5 hours one night.
Yeah, we just missed that.
Yeah, what a pisser! It's almost like it was in the same spot with two in between two Jersey walls. It was a drag.
Yeah.
So
it looks like
I-70 is always crappy.
It doesn't look like I do 70, but I'm 8.5 hours away. And it looks like I go 64 to 78. No, 68. 68. I'm not on 70. Where's 70? Is that in what state is that in?
that's east west. I think it goes all the way to New Jersey, all the
Okay.
way. 70 will take you, I think, to the West Coast. I know you could take it at least to Denver.
Go straight through Ohio, straight through.
Oh, yeah, straight through
Indiana,
Ohio.
Missouri,
Kansas, Illinois. You got to add the S. Illinois.
Going up that direction, even up to Sedgeville, is a strange thing for us because we drive through West Virginia.
Sedgeville.
I call that anywhere up there.
Dang it! I need to move to that place. That place sounds amazing.
Anything above New York is Sedgeville. I consider that Sedgeville. We drive through West Virginia, then Virginia, and then up that. It's a way I've never been before. When I went to New York City and Washington is the only time we do that drive. It's kind of a different drive. We're not that far from it. I'm surprised I haven't been there more than like 3 times because, like you said, it's only 8 hours away, and there's a lot of free things to do there. I kind of forget about it sometimes.
Where's Sedgeville?
Sedgeville is anything over New York.
Oh,
yeah,
Sedgeville.
If Rhode Island, I've never been to Maine, but
dude,
Boston, Rhode Island, all that, I all Sedgeville.
I still consider Maine home. I just love it there.
That's one of the only states I've not been to.
Okay, so if you ever plan something,
one of the many I haven't been to.
You guys have to sit down, and I need to talk to you where to go. I'll point you some great restaurants that, if you go like during. Oh, no, for lobster or chowder
Ooh, I
or
love it.
haddock. Oh my God.
New
I love it.
England
Oh,
clam
I
oh
will
my
let you
God.
chowder.
know. Well, I will go eventually because it is one of the few, one of like maybe three that I've not
Yeah.
been to. What's next to Maine?
New Hampshire.
I have not been there either.
And have you been to
California, I
Vermont?
believe.
Have you
What's
been
that?
to Vermont?
No, that's the other one. Those are the ones. It's all the ones up on the top, the very, very
Yeah.
top. Are the
Sedgeville.
ones. Sedgeville. Yeah, I've not been to the upper Sedgeville Peninsula.
Oh God. You gotta Upper Sedgeville.
The upper Sedge Peninsula. The UP.
The UP. Oh my God. So I've had a CEO, Fabian, he was here for a few years from Germany. And he goes, I think I'm going to Maine. He goes, I heard I need to talk to you. And I talked and I named a couple of restaurants and he sent pictures. He goes, my God, the food is amazing here. He took his wife. It was pretty
Yeah, I've
cool.
heard
I
that.
go, you'll be told to go to this place called the Clam Bake. You got to go to this place in Camp Ellis. It's called Hewitt's, and you have to go. And he went, oh, he goes, you were right. It feels like you're going in this really weird neighborhood. And then
That's the
there it
best
is.
ones. That's the
Yeah,
best ones.
absolutely, because everything was built up around them.
My favorite thing is to get a local suggestion to a restaurant.
Yeah,
There's one in Key West. In Key West, if you've ever been there, is extremely touristy. And we were there on a dive trip, and we asked the guy. We did a fishing charter boat. We asked
yep,
him, where should we eat, like a good seafood restaurant or whatever. And he's like, this is where you need to go. It's where all the fishermen take their fish after they're done. They sell them to the restaurant. And he told us where it was. We got off. We went through a trailer park, an
yep,
industrial park. Well, you probably, I
yep,
forgot you were lived down there. You
yep,
probably knew it was right when you crossed the bridge into Key West, you turn to the left, and there was this like trailer parky kind of area. And you're like going, should we be going down here? But you open up and it's a waterfront restaurant that looks like a tiki hut. And their food was unbelievable. It was half the price of everywhere in the main, like
mm,
the Wall Street. We ended up eating lunch and dinner there every day for 3 days because it was
yeah.
so good. And it was
There's
all locals. It was all
now
locals.
I
Hog's
have been.
breath. I think
I,
it's hog's breath is what it was called.
uh,
I feel like it
I've
was called
never
hog's
been there.
breath. Yeah, it was awesome.
So the popular place to stop on the way down there is Alamorada. It's
We
halfway
stopped
down.
there. We stopped there.
And
Yeah.
now so last time I was down there was a long time ago, over 20 years ago, and it had gotten really built up. But there was a place on just south Marathon, and everybody would go, "Where's a good local place?" And we found it. I knew a native Floridian, and she said, "We have to go here." You're driving down one, and we turned into this. It was a big U driveway. You just saw the exit and the entrance, and it was on the Gulf side, and it was called the Floridian. There's so many places down there called the Floridian, or
Yeah.
in Florida, the Floridian. But we went there, and you did not. It was like a tunnel going in and a tunnel coming out of palm trees. And short palms, tall palms, and you're like, what the hell's back here? And then it was this little place with probably 25 tables. But if you looked in the back, the docks backed up to it, and all the fishermen were bringing in fresh catch.
Yep. That's what you want.
And
They,
the most amazing food, from conch chowder to, oh my God, grouper. Oh, and I love a good fish fillet. And
do.
oh my God, the mahi was off the freaking hook.
I think it's,
I, the
don't you
red
find it?
snapper. Oh,
I
unbelievable.
think it's so interesting that if you get recommendations from locals, the restaurant will be amazing, but it will not be the nicest restaurant. A lot of times it will not be the one you would pick if you were a tourist. You would not go, we're not eating there. But the ones that are like have the best food are usually the ones that you would not go to unless you were told to go there.
Yes.
And I've never seen the exception to that. And
When I
sometimes the nicer they are and the more expensive they are, the worse their service and food are,
right.
you know?
Well,
So
when you spend that much money for something that you expect it to be like the most mind-blowing thing you've ever had in your life. When I was at Fort Benning, there was when I went down to look at our house, I flew from Germany to Benning to look for a home before we actually moved. And a buddy of mine who was my platoon leader in Germany was at the captain's career course. I was like, hey, let's get together. He's like, sure. We're going to take you to dinner. I said, all right. He takes me to dinner at this place. It was exit 25. So it's about 25 miles from the main base. And I'm like, man, that's kind of far. It seems kind of silly. We drove all the way up there. We get off. There's like nothing out there. We drive down the road a little ways. And I see this old, what looks to be like, it doesn't look to be, it was a long time ago, a gas station, years and years and years ago. There's literally no other buildings anywhere around this. It's called Hunter's Pub. We go inside, total crap hole inside. Best steak I had while I lived in Georgia.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was the best.
Crazy, isn't it?
The food was amazing, incredible. I almost went there when I was down in Georgia this last time. I was like, I want to stop at Hunter's Pub.
They make the best food because they don't spend anything on ambiance.
Yeah, or advertising or
Yes.
other things. Yeah, I try to do that though. It's funny, you can't ask anybody when you go on vacation because some of them just turn around and give it right back to the places that are the touristy places.
Yes.
But certain people like the fishermen or people like that, they will tell you where to go eat. They will tell you. And I think when you're looking for like seafood, a no-brainer, if you find out where the deep sea fishing people take their fish back to the restaurants, that's where you want to go. That's where you want to go.
Okay, so you asked the right people. You want to hear a really cool story? One of the funniest guys I've met my entire life, his name was Carl. And I knew him from the beach in Old Orchard Beach. He was just a regular. He used to come down and visit us down in Florida when we moved down there. He was just the funniest guy. So he used to go and do open mic at Catch a Rising Star in Boston. That's how funny he was. So he decided to open a sandwich shop in Kennebunkport in a really off the beaten path. And I said, Kyle, it was Kyle's sandwich shop. I go, how are you going to make it? He goes, don't worry about it, man. I'll make it. You know what he did? He got his full background checked. Think about it. Kennebunkport. It was during the Bush regime, right? The Bush times. Okay. And he had 2 8-year go or a 4-year go of it for the dad. And then did he do 2 terms? Bush Jr.? Yeah. He'd had another 8 years. Who do you think? Why do you think he had a full security background check? When you're in town, who do you ask? When you're visiting the Bush compound, you ask the Secret Service, and they all went there.
Oh, that's
for the
awesome.
Sandwiches.
Oh.
So when you're in town, you ask the right people. They go, oh, no, you got to go to Cal's.
Yeah.
You got to go to Cal's sandwich shop. And he had a full background check. And he also supplied sandwiches for the compound.
That's cool. People that are local know. That's key.
And that just endears Carl to everybody, you know, because he's just everybody. I never met anybody who didn't love Carl. Just a good guy. Awesome. I just thought that was cool. So you go off the beaten path. You always ask the right people, the right locals, right. You know, and that's what's fun.
Now I'm hungry. I didn't eat dinner tonight. You guys are killing me. You know what you know what I'm gonna go make real quick?
What?
Leftover brisket. Here's how I know, Sedge, that brisket.
He talked
Dude, those were my last 2 meals here afterwards at work before I left. And that was the best brisket you ever made.
Dude, we froze. We froze 2 bags of it. We took it out. Good. We've been eating off of it this week for breakfast with brisket and eggs or whatever. And still, every single time I eat it and warm it up, it's still so incredibly juicy and just amazing. And I just took out the second bag today, and that's what I'm going to have for dinner. Make me a little brisket sandwich. So good. But I got to go do that before I go upstairs and hang out with the boy.
I was at work, eating my second meal off of that brisket, and I bit onto a part of the crust, the back. Holy crap, it must have been solid salt.
Yeah. It's so funny.
But that might have helped it, I think. I don't know why.
It might have. I want to talk to Jevin about that because this one is like incredibly juicy still now, like after I reheat it. And I told Nicole, I said, I think like taste-wise and tenderness, yes, like the one before that I thought was my best. This one, it was even better. And I told her, My only regret is that I feel like it had a little bit too much salt. And I'm a salt guy.
Oh,
And
me
she,
too.
which I didn't think she was like, no, you didn't. That was plenty. That was totally fine. I'm like, oh wow. Like I was worried that she thought it was too much. I'm getting to the point now. I hope Jevin's listening to this. That Jevin and I might have to do a little
Cook off.
brisket competition and let some people taste test it.
Wow. Wow.
I'm saying that as a joke because Jevin literally taught me everything that I know about making a brisket.
Boy, you're throwing those right on the table, aren't you?
What?
What, challenging Jevin?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Holy
No, Jevin would smoke me. His brisket, like
incredible.
I've had brisket before in my life, but then I just never remember it being anything memorable. And we were at Patrick and Michelle's, and Jevin brings over a brisket, and I ate some brisket, and I was like, what is this magical meat? And where has it been my entire life? And that is what got me hooked. Jevin
Cool.
got
Wouldn't it
me
be
hooked on
cool
brisket.
if we had that at Green Suitors Con?
It would be cool.
Oh, what a great idea.
Wait a minute.
Wait for it.
It would be cool. Maybe.
We
Just
are having
maybe.
that at Green Suitors Con, right?
Con.
Just one of
That's
the
a good place to end. That's a
Sure.
good place to end.
Yes.
Leave the mystery.
The mystery.
And when I say that, we're talking about his brisket is going to be there,
Well, I might have to
custom
bring one
made.
too.
Custom made. You're gonna be working. You're not gonna be able to make a brisket.
I'm
Well,
going to
Ronnie,
bring potato chips.
It was supposed to be a surprise, and now you just ruined it for everybody.
I'm going to
It's
bring potato
fun.
chips.
Hey,
No, I
we
don't-
can tease.
We never
people
said it
and
was
let
going to be a
them know.
surprise.
We can let them know that is a huge, huge deal. Some people will come just for the brisket. We have to lock the doors.
Yeah. All right. I gotta go. Do my dad
Bye-bye.
thing.
Bye-bye.
Here we go. Every single time.
Bye-bye.
Every single time.
Bye-bye.
Sedge always
Bye-bye.
thinks that he's gonna be the last person to get. Wait.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No, there
Bye.
was one other
Bye.
thing that it'll only take like 2 minutes. There was one other
Okay, go
thing.
ahead.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So today
Bye-bye.
I was using these new hinges, like the ones that lift up like this.
Were they from Bye-bye?
No. You're really trying. They were not, but I made this dumb mistake, and I just want to let everybody know to always make sure that you double check and
Yes.
triple and quadruple check your bye-byes.